The story begins like this. A long time ago, there lived a famous blacksmith. He owned a store where he sold his handmade ironware. One day he got lucky and sold his weapons to the kingdom of Cairo, which was in the midst of endless war. It was an incredible chance for him to raise his status. The blacksmith was awarded the position of a baron, and he is the father of Roman, our main character. An old man is telling him the story, and his servant is confused to see his master listening to a story everyone knows. A few hours ago, Roman is asking his servant that this is the kingdom of Cairo in the Salamander Kingdom, and I'm the eldest son of Dimitri family, and the world called Miram doesn't exist. His servant is surprised. Why is he asking those questions? Maybe because he did drugs and forget about his own self. Since he is the thrash of the family, he informed Roman that his fiancée is coming. But Roman has no interest in her, and asked his servant to take him to an eldest person of this land, so that he will learn something about this world. We see, the old man has finished telling him the story. Roman thanks him. We come to know that he is reincarnated in Roman's body, and in his previous life his name was Baek Jung Hyuk, and it was a Miram world. They heard a loud noise from outside. Few guys are bullying someone. The servant saw the tattoo in the bully's hand, which is symbol of Blood Fang Group. He informed Roman that the Blood Fang Group is beating someone, maybe because he didn't pay his debt in time. And the Blood Fang Group not only acts in the land of Dimitri, but also in nearby territories. He suggests his master that we should leave like we didn't see anything, but Roman has another plan. He asks them to stop, and after seeing that he is Roman Dimitri, the thrash, they tell him to screw off. He asked his servant that he doesn't know the rules of this land and tells him to explain to him who broke the rules here. He tells him that the boy was unable to pay his debt in time, so he is in wrong, but the Bloodfangs don't have the permission to take care of that themselves. And they also disrespected the eldest son of Dimitri, which is a crime that worth their life. And according to this land's law, it wouldn't be odd for them to receive capital punishment. Roman picks a stick saying, since they have broke the laws, I, the eldest son of Lord Romero Dimitri, I will punish them. The Bloodfangs are ready to give him a fight. Roman charged towards them. The bald guy attacks Roman, but he got his throat pierced by a stick. They started to charge toward Roman. A guy attacked him. Roman dodged and stabbed him on his chest. Roman is thinking, when I first opened my eyes, he found a will written by Roman and some drugs on the floor. The kingdom chose representatives from each house to go to war, and Roman was forced to go to war to represent his family. He killed himself out of fear. It was a pathetic life. But the owner of the current body is a leader of the heavenly demon sect, Baek Jung Hyuk, and since he took over the body, he is going to live Baek Jung Hyuk's way. The guys start to run screaming monster. Roman grabs him by his head and tells him that he is not going to kill him, but he is still going to pay for talking so ruthlessly. Roman gouged his eyes. He informed everyone that his name is Roman Dimitri, and if they didn't like the punishment he gave them, they can come and look for him anytime. Next we see, Baek Jung Hyuk was a man who massacred hundreds and thousands of martial artists, and when their blood formed a river, the world acknowledged that the heavenly demon sect controlled the Miram world. But now, he have to go back and forth multiple times, just to take care of few street rats. He asked Hans, his servant, to call the guard and report what happened here. The guy who got beaten thanks Roman for saving him, but Roman tells him that he didn't do it to help him. The guys from Bloodfangs broke the rule and got punished, and asked him to explain his situation, and if he lies, then he won't be able to keep his tongue. He tells Roman that his parents borrowed money from Bloodfang, and they would have easily repaid them by selling their crops. But the Bloodfangs destroyed their crops. But later he knows that they were after his younger sister and begged Roman to at least save his sister. Looking at those eyes, Roman remembered one of the four heavenly demons, the Mad Demon. And he also met him at a rundown place just like this. Roma asked his name. He replies, it's Kevin. Roman leaves saying, I'll check if you're telling the truth later. Next we see a carriage, and in there is Lady Flora, the fiancée of Roman. A month ago, her father is telling her to get married, and Dimitri, she doesn't agree. But he tells her in order to overcome the disaster they are facing in their land, she have to, and there's no other way. She arrived in the land of Dimitri. She was supposed to marry the second son, who has a bright future, but Roman forced her to marry him instead. Roman, the moron of Dimitri's. She asked Roman to call off the marriage. Roman agreed to her. She is shocked. Roman tells her, since he is a moron of the Dimitri family, he wouldn't dare to marry someone like her. He tells her that he will talk to his father and he will be taking full responsibility for breaking the engagement. Next, his father is scolding him for breaking the marriage. He tells him that he provided him with good environment as a father, even though people called him the moron of Dimitri's, and marriage with Lawrence family was the best way for them to gain proper position as nobility, and he couldn't even do that. He throws a cup at Roman and tells him, Now that his marriage is called off, he have to go to the battlefield in 6 months. Roman agrees. He tells Roman to take responsibility for causing the problems with the Blood Fang group. Roman tells him he will take care of that and leaves the room. Flora tells him that Blood Fang group are very dangerous and tells him to go back and ask for help from his father. But Roman tells her, you really don't know your place. Next we see Hans is applying perfume on Roman since his fiancée is coming. But Roman doesn't want to marry her and also doesn't want to be disrespectful towards a woman who hasn't caused him any trouble. But the lady never planned to show any respect towards him. He tells her the moment the topic of breaking the engagement came up, she had no right to interfere with his decision, and tells her we should go on our separate ways from now on. Next, Romero is telling his wife Lahanna that he used violence against Roman again. When he was a commoner, he used to beat Roman very often, but when he became a noble, he promised himself not to let his child go through that experience again. Lahanna consoles him and tells him to help Roman to take care of Blood Fang group, and tells him to get Captain Jonathan to help Roman. Hans tries to stop Roman to go outside, since Blood Fang might try to get revenge on him. But Roman tells him that Blood Fang started gaining their infamy by mercilessly slaughtering their enemy, and he will deal with them in their own way. Next we see Atelier restaurant. Roman has ordered a meal for Hans and tells him to sit there until he comes back. But Hans stops him from going since it will be very dangerous. But Roman tells him he had done more than enough by accompanying him outside and leave. Hans rushed to inform about Roman leaving alone. Next, Roman is walking in an alley and people from Blood Fang have come to get revenge on him. A guy starts to attack him with a knife. Hans has come to inform Captain Jonathan about Roman and tells him to go and help him since he went in a dangerous place alone. Roman is beating the guys from Blood Fang. He stabs the guy on his throat with a knife. The other two guys are shocked to see that the information they get about Roman are not the same as the sea right now, and Roman is ready to cut them down. Next we see Hans telling the Captain Jonathan that Roman went to fight with Blood Fang, but they all laugh at him. Hans tells them that it's not a lie. Jonathan remembered that Lord Romero ordered him to help Roman. He asked Hans to bring them to young master. Next we see Roman and he is ready to fight them. The two of them starts to attack him. A guy attack him. Roman dodged and stab him. The other guy attack him. Roman kick him, sending him flying. He starts to interrogate him and asked him who is their leader. Next we see and then people are drinking and laughing. Roman comes in. The bartender asked, what would you like to drink? Roman replies, Tear of Dawn, one from the 20 seconds. The bartender tells him they don't have something like that. Then he asks Dew of the Dawn. The bartender tells him that it's a pub in the middle of street and they get their task from them when they tells them a special code. Roman asked what's the code and it's Tear of the Dawn, something strong and working in the morning. The bartender tries to surprise attack Roman but gets punched and knocked out. Everyone in the pub starts to attack him. The fight breaks out and Roman beats them easily. Everyone is shocked to see his strength. In a short period of time, the heavenly demon was able to improve Roman's body through martial arts, although he's nowhere near his old self. The guy starts to attack him again. Captain Jonathan is shocked to see Roman beats all of them, and a guard inform him that young Master Roman went to Lawrence. Jonathan is confused why he went to Lawrence. 1 hour ago, in the pub, Roman is torturing and interrogating the bartender, but the bartender is not giving him any information. Even though Roman has cut 2 fingers of his, Roman threatened him, saying that he will kill his son. But the bartender is still not willing to give him any information. But Roman tells him, I was serious when I said I'd kill your son, and I swear that my name Roman Dimitri. Now would you rather keep your mouth shut for the sake of Blood Fang and let your son die, or you'll give me the information I needed? Next, we see a guy is telling the leader of Blood Fang that Roman had defeated the entire division by himself, and the leader is shocked that Roman Dimitri is capable of doing something like that. He asks his man, where is Roman right now? He replies, Roman has just left the Dimitri region, maybe he got information from the morning dew. He ordered his man to gather all their forces. They are going to kill Roman Dimitri. Next we see Lawrence's nobles are talking their coming war with Barcos. They heard that Barcos took out large sum of money from the gold bank to prepare for war, and the war is inevitable. Everyone is worried. If the war breaks out, they will definitely lose their territories. But the Lord of Lawrence tell them they still have hope. The marriage with Dimitri. Everyone gets happy saying, we have Dimitris, although they were originally commoners. They are the wealthiest in the northern region. And no matter how much money Barcos took out as a loan, they won't be wealthier than Dimitri's. Flora is worried how to tell her father about the cancel of the marriage. But a guy comes rushing, he greets Flora and tells his lord they're in emergency. Jonathan is telling the guard to open the gate, and if anything happened to young lord, he won't forgive them. A man come and inform the gate guard. The Lawrence Plaza is in total mess right now. Everyone is terrified to see the sight. Roman is dragging the leader of Blood Fang group. The leader of Blood Fang is thinking, since their opponent is only one person and they have many armed men, There is no way they will lost, but shocked to see all his men being killed by Roman Dimitri. Roman is dragging him in the middle of the plaza, and everyone recognized the man he was dragging as the leader of Bloodfang. Roman tells the audience that the crimes of Bloodfang are clear and thus he will rip out the evil within and execute him on the spot. Everyone is shocked and Jonathan have also arrived. He is also shocked to see the scene. Next, the guard is informing the lords that they let Roman to enter the land, since he's Miss Flora's fiancé. But after an hour he appeared dragging a man, and after stating he is the leader of Bloodfang he execute him in front of people. A man tells his lord that Roman murdered a man without the lord's permission and it's a matter that can't be ignored. The lord ordered to summon Roman Dimitri. Roman comes in, seeing Jonathan with him. The Lawrence lord thought because of him Roman was able to do something like that. Roman greets the Baron Lawrence. The Baron Lawrence asks him, why did you come all the way to Lawrence to do something so violent as that? Roman replies, few days ago I executed some Bloodfang because they were assaulting an innocent citizen and after that they came to get revenge on me. So I decided that I couldn't leave them be and went to their base to kill their leader. The Baron tells him he has no authority to execute someone in Lawrence. Roman replies, the identity of the leader of Bloodfang isn't unknown and he is popular in Lawrence for his various crimes. But the Lawrence didn't took any action toward him. That's why I took care of him myself. He asked the Baron if he really did something wrong. The Baron tells them this case will no longer desist and will reward Roman for his deed. Next we see, the Baron is happy that his future son-in-law is that gutsy. He thought that Roman was not fit for Flora but now he calls Flora. Jonathan is surprised to see the Roman in front of him is not the Roman Dimitri that he knew. Next we see Baek Jung-hyuk. When he was a little kid his father throw him in a cave with other kids and tells him to prove his worthiness. Baek Jung-hyuk is getting beaten by other kid. He tries to fight back but get beaten. He thinks parents are supposed to protect their kid but why did his throw him in the world where strong reigns? Next we see Roman is taking bath and thinks that after awakened in this world he have experienced many things. Even though he is in Roman's body, his way of living is still like Baek Jung-hyuk. But it will be dangerous if he goes out like he did this time, and wants to get stronger faster. A servant tells him that the Lord is calling for him. Jonathan is telling Lord Remora about the incident, and Remora is surprised to hear that Roman annihilated the Bloodfang group. He wants Roman to live a happy life, since he was the only child that went through when he was a commoner. But now he achieved something that no one ever expected. He is prepared to do anything for Roman. Roman comes in and looking at his father. He thinks the word that comes out from his mouth will change his life totally. Next we see little Baek Jung-hyuk getting beaten up. He picks a stone and hit him on his head. The guy is down and after that Baek Jung-hyuk starts to hit him and killed him. He tells the other kids, now he is the boss of this cave. Roman admits he did. Next we see the training ground where people are training. Roman, Remora and Jonathan enters the ground and everyone pays their respect and greet the Lord Remora. Captain Jonathan tells them to duel with young Master Roman. Everyone is shocked to hear they have to duel with an idiot. An hour ago Roman is telling his father how he planned and defeated the leader of Bloodfang. His father asked him how was he able to defeat the leader of Bloodfang. Roman tells him that he's been training in secret and as an idiot of Dimitri family. He wants to accomplish something on his own. His father asked him if he could see his swordsmanship with his own eyes. No one wants to fight him. Even if they defeat him, they won't gain anything by defeating an idiot. But Jonathan calls a guy named Chris. He is the vice captain of Dimitri Knights. He met Roman a year ago in a restaurant where he is causing a problem there. Chris tries to stop him but gets slapped. He thinks Roman is a pathetic human being and just a thrash of Dimitri family. But now he is going to duel with that thrash. He asked Jonathan. He was taught to treat any duel as a real fight and not to show any mercy to his opponent. Roman smiles and Chris get mad. Now the both side is ready, the duel begins. Chris charge towards Roman and attack him, Roman block it. Chris is shocked to see Roman blocked his strike, and his defensive pose is very stable. Chris starts to attack him again but Roman dodges and blocked all of his attacks. Roman swung his sword, cutting a few of Chris's hair. Everyone is shocked to see Roman's skill. Now the warm-up is over, Roman starts to attack Chris. Chris blocked it. Roman starts to attack him with an impressive chain attack. But Chris noticed that Roman's movement is big and this is his chance. He attacks him. Roman dodged that attack making a smug face. And Chris thinks that he is going to lose to Roman. He uses his aura and attacks Roman. They have a big commotion. And Remora is worried about Roman. But Roman dodged the attack and countered-attacked Chris. Everyone is shocked to see Chris get defeated by Roman. Jonathan and Chris are sparring. Chris is 2-star Aura Knight and is incredible in sword. Jonathan thinks that Chris is a genius. But now that genius has been defeated by Roman Dimitri, Lord Remora asked Jonathan, isn't Chris was your most trophied 2-star Aura Knight of Dimitri? Even Jonathan is surprised to see a 2-star Aura Knight being defeated by Roman. He tells Ryamro, Maybe the young lord is a genius at sword skill. Roman is thinking why Jonathan is proud of Chris. Chris has the ability to take care of Bloodfang by himself. And for Jonathan's standard, Chris is a pretty skilled warrior. But in Roman's eyes, he is the worst. But Roman was surprised at the end when Chris used his attack. Remora is happy that his son is a sword genius. He is happy for Roman to be able to achieve something by himself and tells him that he will give him a reward fitting for him, and asked him if there's anything he wants. Roman tells him that you said that I need to leave for the battlefield within the next half year, and for that I want you to give me the right to select my own men for myself. Remora agrees to him. Next, Chris is surprised to hear that the young lord asked him to teach him about aura. Jonathan asked him to teach the young lord and see what the different about him, and if he did that he will teach him all his skill and knowledge. Next we see Hans is praising Roman for being able to defeat a 2-star Aura Knight. Roman asked if he knows anything about aura. Hans replies, is it not the power to be able to use mana? The eruption of energy that Roman felt from Chris is called mana in this place. But Roman can't understand why they are using energy like that. But he will come to know soon from his training. Next we see Roman and Chris. Chris starts to explain Roman about aura. It's a subset of mana usage. Magician use mana by storing it in their circlets, and knight use it by storing it throughout their body. The first person to figure it out to store the mana throughout the body can strengthen the person's physical body. His name was Emperor Alexandero. Chris tells Roman, the path to become an Aura Knight is difficult, and the path for magician is more difficult. It took him about half a year to sense mana, and for many people it takes more than a year. Roman tells him to start the training. Roman was already able to sense mana because he was a heavenly demon in his previous life and had stored mana in small amount. Chris is explaining him how he should manifest mana, but didn't notice that Roman had already manifested. He got surprised to see Roman has already manifested the mana and had already covered his body with it. Roman is thinking the way people here utilize Kai or mana is useless. In Mirim, people used Kai to remove waste from their body to be able to store it within their body. And the Kai in the Mirim is barren yet strong, and the Kai in this world is full yet light. And by using the method of this world, he won't be able to reach the top in 100 years. Chris asks him how did he manage to do it. It took years for him. Roman laughs at him. Chris gets mad for laughing at his 10 years of effort. But Roman tells him that his 10 years of training were important, but the fact that he didn't even question their method once is the reason why he laughed at him. Chris asked Roman, what should I do from now on? Next we see a man get defeated in fight, and the winner is Baek Jung Hyuk. He asked him what should he do get stronger, and the same with Chris, throwing his pride away and asking Roman what should he do from now on. It's making Roman interested. Next we see a man named Blood Demon. He was strong, and the fight between him and Baek Jung Hyuk was inevitable. But in the end he lost to Baek Jung Hyuk, but he decided to throw away his pride in order to be taught, and now Chris is doing the same. Chris is asking for a way to get stronger from Roman. Roman tells him if he answers his question that wouldn't be any different from the life choices that he have made until now. Roman tells him to follow him and learn from what he does. In 6 months he is going to the battlefield and observe how he gets stronger as how he deals with his different foes. And if he were to follow him for 10 years, he will find the answer he's been looking for. Chris is thinking he wants to get stronger, but what should he do? Next morning, he tells Jonathan that he is going to follow young master to the battlefield. Seeing him so determined, Jonathan agrees and tells him that from now on he will not be considered as Dimitri Knight. Looking at him, Jonathan thinks that he is not the same child who was crying for his dead mother on the battlefield. He asks Chris to follow him. Since he will be going to the battlefield, he needs a weapon that he can call his own. Chris is happy. Next we see the news had spread that the Thrash Roman Dimitri had took care of the Bloodfang, and Kevin also happens to hear the news. Kevin is working and thinks if he was also strong enough like young master, someone strong enough to protect people around them whenever possible. But Roman suddenly appeared in front of him. Kevin falls on his knee and thank him. Because of him, his family is able to survive. Roman gives him an offer. If he accepts, he won't need to be worried about his family financial issues, and he will be able to have warm home and nice food. But he have to pledge his loyalty to Roman. Kevin pledges his loyalty to Roman, and he's ready to live and die, kill or killed on his command. Seeing him pledging his loyalty with his own blood, Roman remembers one of his man from the Mirim world, who would do anything on his one command. Roman declares, from now on you are mine. Next we see Roman is telling Hans to take care of Kevin and help him to get used to the life around him. Kevin thanks him for everything. Roman tells them if they need anything, he is in the library. Roman is reading about the Aura Knight. In order to become an Aura Knight, one should be able to manifest aura and its morals as 1-star Aura Knight. And to become 2-star, one should be able to cut steel using aura. And 3-star Knights are beyond normal comprehension and receive special treatment from the kingdom. There are 6-star Knight exist in Salamander, but there's no stories of 7-star. And the people who are 6-star Knight, their strength, attack, and their impact are otherworldly. There are 12 people who have reached 6-star Knight and are treated like royalty no matter their race or nationality. They are called 12 Blades of Continent. And then there are the magicians. Magicians who reach 7 Circle are given the title Archmage, and they are considered as half human and half god, and they are more powerful than 6-star Knight. Roman is thinking sooner or later he will face them. And for him to live like Baek Jung Hyuk, he have to get stronger. Next we see Hans have bring him in an old workshop where his father used to work. Roman tells him that he is going to spend the next week in that workshop and not to disturb him unless his people are in danger. Hans agrees and leave. Now Roman is ready to start training. In order to use the techniques of Heavenly Demon perfectly, he have to start from the first stage, that is human. He starts to remove the impurities from his body, and in order to regain his original strength. Entering the stage of human is just the beginning. 1 week later, Baron Lawrence and his daughter have come to Dimitri. They ask for Roman and the servant tells them to wait in the waiting room, since the young master is busy with some matter. Baron tells Flora that they have come to apologize for their mistake, so be wary of what you say. Next we see Flora had informed her father about the cancellation of the marriage, and he gets mad about the rushed decision. Now the Barcos attacks, they will lose all their land, honor, and even she who's been called the Flower of Lawrence. Now she is regretting because of her selfish reason. They will lose everything. Hans is worried. Now the Baron and Lady Flora has been waiting from the morning, but young master haven't come out. The door opens and Hans is surprised to see his young master. Baron Lawrence gets angry, since they have been waiting from the morning until afternoon. He tells his daughter that he will go and find Baron Dimitri. He comes to the Baron Dimitri and asks why are they being so cruel to let them wait for half a day. Baron Dimitri asks him if they have an appointment with him. Baron Lawrence tells him that they don't have it, but they have already shared their intention with Roman a week ago. And if the Dimitri decided to decline their visit, they wouldn't have been offended like this. Baron Dimitri asked them if they are just here to share that they are angry because they had to wait for half a day. And on the day when Flora visited and Roman shared his intention of breaking the marriage, he knew Flora was the reason why he wanted to break the marriage, even though he knew he didn't question Roman about it. And Lawrence were the one who wanted the marriage first. And while they were oblivious about their own mistakes, still dares to come and complain to him. He informed them a month ago Barcos offered them for marriage with them instead of Lawrence. But Dimitri's declined them because he chose the option that he personally liked. Now Baron Lawrence is thinking he had made a big mistake because of his anger. He tells Flora he knew that she and Roman were not good match, since Roman is considered as a trash of family, but she should have known that Roman is a Dimitri, and the name alone holds a value of it. Flora is thinking, when she was kid there was a child who make a mistake in the school, and the teacher opened a punishment committee for him. His father came and apologized to the teacher, and now she is in the same situation of that child and his father. They both apologize to Baron Dimitri. A servant informed young Master Roman have arrived, and both of them are surprised to see him in his new look. His father asks, "Are you done with your training?" He replies yes. Seeing the situation of the room, he tells them he know about the Lawrence and Barcos situation. However, on the day he first met Flora, after hearing her thought, he changed his mind. She made her result after hearing about the rumors of the Fool of Dimitri. He told them no matter what the other people said about Roman Dimitri, but he was hoping to spend his life with someone who judged him based on what they saw personally, and thus he wants no change to occur for the marriage to be broken up. Baron Lawrence is thinking, now they have to solve their issue with what they have within the Lawrence family. But he is grateful for Dimitri for not accepting the Barcos offer and joined with them. He apologized to them again and leave with his daughter. He thinks if he had known about Roman's true worth, he would have been more careful, and tells Flora to not make sudden decisions. His father asks what happened to him over the past week. During that week, he was inside the shed, removing all the impurities within his body to reach human stage. The amount of impurities in his body was critical, and preparing even the foundation of his body had a significant effect. The changes of his physical appearance. He tells his father, when he was in training he started to circulate the mana throughout his body. His father gets surprised that his son Roman Dimitri, who is known to be an idiot of Dimitri, had accomplished a thing that no one can possibly do. He tells Roman as his father he will always support him no matter what. Roman thinks the father he had now is totally different from his cruel father in his previous life. He thanks him for his support and leave the room, but Flora is waiting for him outside. She apologizes for judging him too quickly, but he tells her she doesn't need to apologize for it. She stops and tells him the reason why she wanted to break the engagement. She tells him it was during the gathering of royal families in the Northeast. She heard the rumor that Roman Dimitri enjoyed doing drugs. She tells him it should be something he should know, but now she knows that they all were false. He tells her, whatever happened, it doesn't change their relationship and she doesn't need to care about it. Next, Roman asks Hans if he had ever seen him doing drugs. Hans replies, a month ago. When you returned from the gathering you seemed to be in an odd state, and after that you asked for excessive amounts of alcohol and didn't even leave her room. Hans thought. He got his hand on drug during the party. Roman asked who was the host of the party. It was the eldest son of Bracco, Anthony Barco. Now Roman understands what has been going on. Few things were bothering him about Roman death, and in his will letter, he was supposed to go to the battlefield instead of his two younger siblings. But he was already promised to married with Flora, so there was plenty of ways to avoid going to war. But why decided to kill himself? Roman asked if he was closed with Anthony Bracco. Hans replies, recently you were on bad term after the talks of marriage with Lawrence. Roman thinks the marriage between Dimitri and Lawrence was a big obstacle for Bracco, and to stop them, they must have done everything they could to Roman, and that's what led to Roman to kill himself. Hans informed that they receive an invitation from the Bracco family a couple of days ago. Roman tells him to inform the Bracco that he will be attending the party. Next we see Hans brought Kevin to see young master and tells him not to be surprised to see young master. Kevin opens the door and surprised to see Roman. Roman asks how he has been. He replies, I have been fine, and asks Roman what is his role here. Roman tells him his role is to be his sword. He tells him there are 3 paths he can choose. First, if he is scared of bloodshed, he don't have to be his sword but his hand and feet like Hans and learn from him. Second, to become his sword and protect him by his side, and he will test him by a method that will cause an excruciating pain. And the third one is to cut off his hand, and if he endure it till end, he can become stronger at a rate faster than anyone else. Roman thinks even the mad demon who was astray in the streets was able to become 4 heavenly demon. Now what about Kevin? Kevin was born outside the castle of Dimitri and worked to survive. He had learned how to do everyday job, but every effort he put in get taken away of someone. But everything changed after seeing the overwhelming strength of Roman. He decided that he will do it. He swing the sword. Next we see Chris asking Hans about Roman, and Hans replied he is talking with Kevin. Kevin has chopped his hand and passed out. Hans is shocked to see the blood in the sword, but Roman tells him not to worry about, it's fine. Roman had used the charm of illusion demon and had made Kevin feel like he had actually cut off his hand. Roman is excited to see how will they grow in 6 months. Roman tells Kevin that he is going to teach him mana enhancement technique, the same technique the mad demon used, the dangerous technique that eats away the user's spirit and allows them to display power under extreme pain. Since Kevin was ready to cut off his hand, this technique will be perfect for him. He tells him if he masters this technique, he will have the strength to protect everyone around him. Kevin asks why he trusts him so much. He could betray him after learning the technique, but Roman tells him it's just because, and tells him we will start training from tomorrow. Roman is surprised because Mad Demon also asked him the same question, but he believed that Kevin won't betray him because as the time passes he will know how dangerous is it to betray the heavenly demon. Roman is teaching Kevin and Chris is watching them. He is thinking why Roman is not teaching him but this strange kid, but he thinks to wait for a little while. Many days passed by just like that. Chris get mad and ask Roman it's been 2 weeks he started to follow him but he is not teaching him anything. Roman replied, I told you to just observe and learn. Chris is shocked that he literally meant to observe and learn. Roman tells him that everyone has their own way of training. He is teaching Kevin because he doesn't know anything and need to learn from beginning to the end. But for Chris is different. He gives Chris a sword and tells him to spar with Kevin, and Roman will advise Kevin on how to defeat him. Kevin is scared to fight with a knight, but Roman tells him even if he gets defeated he won't lose anything. Kevin agrees and now they are ready to fight. Chris starts to attack him but Kevin blocked the strike. Chris swing his sword and kick Kevin sending him flying. Kevin hears a sound telling him to get up. It's Roman talking to him by sound conduction, a method to deliver sound through mana. Kevin is surprised to know that his master knows something like that. Roman tells him to throw himself to the right. He dodges the attack and tells him to turn around and aim for his chest. Chris dodged and kicked him. Kevin is thinking his swing was too slow to land. Chris attack him again. Roman tells him to escape to the right but get hit on his face. Chris is thinking that Kevin is holding better than he expected. Kevin is surprised to see his master is omnipotent to know the exact movement of 2-star knight, but it's his body that cannot keep up with his command. He is thinking the young master is like puppet master who is controlling the knight Chris. Roman tells him to turn his body towards the right. He dodges the attack and tells him to charge forward and counter attack. Chris dodges the attack and punched him. Chris is surprised to see Kevin is dodging all the critical attack and even counter attack him. And Kevin is surprised. The greatest genius of Dimitri Knight can't even hold a candle to the young master, who is just commanding him to dodge and attack. And he is going to serve that kind of person as his lord. Kevin attacked Chris but now he has got beaten up pretty bad. Chris tells him to admit his defeat but Kevin laughs at him and he is ready to do this all day. Chris get mad and charge toward him. Roman tells him to step forward and attack but Chris dodged the attack. Roman tells him to turn around and charge. Seeing how wide his movement is, Chris decide to attack him but suddenly notice Roman. Kevin dodged the attack and counter attack him, but Chris have learned from his mistake and dodged the attack. Chris attack him, knocking him out. Roman tells him now that he win, he will start to teach him from tomorrow, if he desire, and it's his choice. Chris is in his room thinking, if he didn't had that experience with Roman, he would definitely lost to Kevin using aura. He laughs, saying, he have grown from just one experience. Next morning, he tells Roman that he doesn't need any teaching and will look for a way to get stronger by following him. He has grown so much from just one spar. His mind is filled with teaching like Roman is teaching him as he was teaching Kevin. He determined himself that he will observe and learn from it. 1 week later, the day of social gathering hosted by Bracco came. A week before the social party, the news of Roman Dimitri and Flora Lawrence marriage get cancelled has spread like wildfire and reached to the eldest son of Bracco, Anthony Bracco. He is saying, Roman is so easily manipulated and he is eager for the social party, where Roman will come again. The day of the social party, Hans has prepared a dress for Roman. He doesn't want to wear it, but for Hans' sake he agrees to wear it. Chris is waiting for Kevin. Kevin arrived wearing an armor. He is still not used to it. Seeing Kevin like that, Chris thinks he almost lose a fight to a guy who doesn't know how to wear an armor. Chris tells him, since they are escorting the young master, his reputation lies in our action, so rash decision are forbidden. Kevin replied, I will keep that in mind. Next we see, people are enjoying the social gathering party, and their hot topic is the idiot of Dimitri. But there's one girl who is curious about Roman. She asked a guy, what kind of man is Roman Dimitri? He replies, you will see when you meet. The servant announced the eldest son of Dimitri, Roman Dimitri, is entering. Seeing his head held high, with a strong posture, everyone is shocked to see him. The girl comes and greet him. Her name is Sophia Grisel from Grisel family. She asked if he ever heard of her family name, though they are not a prominent family. Her father dedicated his life for the kingdom of Cairo. Roman replies, how can he forget the family with a history of dating back centuries? Roman had did his homework before coming to the social party about his family and their connection. He tells her that the lumber from Grisel is famous for its high quality in the kingdom of Cairo, and he also heard that her sibling succeeded in sensing Manhwa. Seeing how well-mannered and friendly he is, everyone starts to approach and greet him. The servant come and inform him that the young master has invited him into the back room. Next we see Chris and Kevin. Chris is telling him to take off his helmet. The other guard starts to insult them, saying, is this the level of Dimitri? Their guard didn't even know how to put a helmet on. We see old Roman, who felt in love at first sight after seeing Flora. Roman enters the room and Anthony tells him he heard that he changed, so that's true. Roman takes a sit, and after observing the room he noticed there were other people there, and he make them leave. There must be something important for him to tell me. Anthony tells him he didn't think that Roman will attain the party because of what happened back then. Roman asked what happened back then. Anthony tells him, you were caught sleeping with my cousin in the back room. Anthony tells him now that Roman had attained the party. He takes that as yes to accept the marriage proposal, and the matter with his cousin will be kept secret. Now the missing link are joining. Roman suddenly starts to remember about that day, where he came to the party. Anthony introduced him to his cousin and make him drink. Next thing he wakes up with a girl in the bed naked. Anthony comes and start to yells at him, saying now he have to take responsibility. Anthony tells him he had laid his hands on a lady of Bracco and this matter cannot be slide. But he will not expose the truth if he agrees to marry a direct descendant of Bracco family. Now the puzzle is solved why Roman killed himself. He doesn't want the Dimitri family honor to drop to rock bottom, and he doesn't want to break off the marriage with the girl he loved. He had no other choice but to committed suicide. The current Roman thinks a weakling like Roman Dimitri, who have never accomplished anything on his own, is just a pathetic human being. Anthony tells him he is not going to oppose them since he has no other choice. But Roman tells him he is not going to accept the Bracco's family proposal for just that pathetic reason. Next we see Roman is ready to leave the party, and Sophia is sad that he is leaving so soon. He tells everyone it's an urgent matter and he have to leave. But when he comes outside he notices a big commotion. Kevin is getting beaten up. Next we see the Knights of Braccos are making fun of Kevin and Chris, but Chris is telling him to endure it. But one of the knights starts to insult Roman, saying their liege is just a moron. Kevin gets mad and tells the knight to take back what he said. The knight slapped him. Chris tries to fight, but he is confused. The Dimitri family is currently at a conflict of interest with the Bracco family, and if he causes a mess here, the family will get in trouble. Kevin tells them he is the knight of his liege and he will not let them to insult him. The guy tries to hit him, but Roman stops him and starts to slap him. He tries to say a moron like you, but gets slapped again. The knight tries to stand up, but Roman slap him again and tells him to raise his head because he is going to hit again. Next we see Anthony is in a shocked state. He was telling Roman to take responsibility for laying his hands on Bracco's lady. But Roman tells him to do whatever he likes. Since he is considered as a moron, nothing will change from getting one or two rumor like that. He tells Anthony that he broke the marriage on his own accord, and since that has fulfilled his wish, if he tries to bear his fang at him, He will help the Lawrence family to interfere with the Bracco's family, to just relieve his personal grudge against Anthony. The real powerhouse in the Northeast is not the Bracco family but the Dimitris. Anthony agrees to wrap up the matter of his cousin if he didn't interfere with the matters regarding Lawrence family. Now Anthony is thinking, how did Roman change so much? But his servant informed him about Roman and his knight. Everyone is shocked to see Roman punishing the knight, and the knight is begging for forgiveness. Kevin and Chris also telling him to stop, but Roman is like, nah, I'm going to beat him to death. Anthony comes saying what's the meaning of this, and demand Roman to apologize for his insolent action. But Roman asks, why should I apologize when his knight slandered me and laid his hand on my person? But Anthony tells him that he crossed the line. But Roman reminds him saying, didn't I tell you my personal grudge may destroy our relationship as well as our family's relationship? So you should keep your action in check and decide what you will do right now. Anthony admits that Roman is right and he would have given the same punishment to him. And now Roman tells the guard to clench his teeth because he is going to get beaten real hard. The previous Roman was a moron, but the present one is different. Everyone who are present there acknowledge one fact: the moron they knew was no longer existed. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it then please do like, comment, share and subscribe for more, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. And one more thing, part 2 is going to be a real good one.